Good morning. Oh, wow. Everybody is enthusiastic this morning. That's great. It is sunny. It is sunny. It is beautiful out. My name is Ben Holquist, and I use he, him pronouns. I serve as on your board of trustees, and I'm happy to welcome you to the Tahoma Unitarian Universalist congregation. Longtime members and new visitors alike, you are welcome here. Whether you're joining us on site or online, we're glad you're here. We are one people of many beliefs, many origins, sexualities, and genders, and love is the power that holds us together. We are all growing, all learning, all loved. You are welcome just as you are. If this is your first time with us, I bid you a special welcome. I'm so glad you found your way to our community. After the service, I will be in the back by the wonderful picture of a house with a tree next to it to answer any questions that you may have. For those of you here in the sanctuary, we have hearing assistance devices and large print hymnals in the back. We're happy to help you get those. For our services in our morning, our online chat chaplain will help the online folks, and we will be utilizing the screen behind me to project the words for our unison readings and lyrics for our hymns. You can find out more information on our website, tahomauu.com. Please be sure to read the weekly e-news, which is coming out regularly these days. It comes out on Friday, in case you aren't quite sure when it's coming out, but it's coming out on Friday. If you aren't getting it, you can sign up on our website, tahomauu.com. There's so much happening. I want to do just a few quick announcements. First, we need 2 volunteers for religious exploration today. So if you can talk to, all right, we've got one here, and we'll find another one. So if you can talk to Kinsey as you go down. Oh, there's Kinsey over there in the corner. So Kinsey, there we've got a person up here, and then we'll go on. Second of all, there is now an online religious exploration volunteer sign-up sheet so that you can sign up more than 10 minutes in advance. We're getting really technical here. It is online. If you are already on the volunteer list, you should have received a link to the spreadsheet. If you are not yet signed up to be a volunteer, you can again reach out to Kinsey and she will get you all set up. But do look in your email for that volunteer schedule, and if you want to start signing up for that. Second of all, there is in the e-news a statement that there will be another town hall today after church. This was an exciting discovery for the board on Friday when that came out. So we are not officially going to do a town hall this afternoon. For those of you that came specifically for that, I will be here and I'm happy to, and Scott is here. We are happy to give you the whole presentation again, and we can get a copy of the handout if you would like. But we had a wonderful time last Sunday. We talked through a lot of things, and we're happy to talk through anything that people have questions about. Or if you came last Sunday and you have questions after thinking about it for a week. I'm going to invite up Margo to talk briefly about chalice circles.
I want to talk briefly about chalice circles because even though they're on your insert, which I don't know, is your insert yellow today or blue? I think it's blue. I think it's blue. It's yellow. Oh, it's yellow. I'm so wrong. It's a little confusing in that handout. There are actually 2 different kinds of chalice circles, and chalice circles are just small groups of people here who want to get to know one another better and want to kind of explore our theme of the month in more depth. And it's also suggests some spiritual practices. So there's one that's going to meet on that Monday night, which I think is the 24th, that you have to sign up for in advance because I need to make enough space and materials and whatnot. But the other one thing we're trying is a pop-up chalice circle, which will be after the service next Sunday. And it's just going to be whoever wants to talk about our theme of the month, which is trust, in more depth. You can just, and I don't know if we'll be in the library or downstairs, so I'll tell you next week, and I will be here to lead it.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, I'm going to invite Sheila and David up to talk about the auction. Oh, many.
The whole day. Debbie Ramsey is somewhere.
She's greeting.
Oh, okay. All right.
There she is.
There she is. We are all wearing our sashes. And thank you so much for donations and for buying tickets. We have some online items that you can bid on right now, like a sensational summer salad. You can buy a seat and enjoy a luncheon in August, so you could look for that, or a craft night sponsored by Chrissy Kim. So if you want to buy a seat for that or a bid for a seat for that, please look at the auction catalog. Just a reminder, we're also going to have some games. You need cash for the games. And probably we have a few more donations trickling in, but I want to also have Teresa talk about volunteers.
First of all, many of you have told me that, yes, I can be there, I will help. But we haven't seen the signups on the Sign Up Genius, and Penny has a spreadsheet that has all of the available slots. So that would help us if you could please sign up if you're planning to come and you can help. Please sign up so that we know we have enough people to do all of the work that needs to be done. This is a pretty major event, and us right here, we can't do it all ourselves. So we need you. And also, just as a reminder, the auction is next Saturday, 5 o'clock to 9-ish. There will be food, there will be drink, there will be games, and there will be a lot of fun. So please plan to join us.
Speaking of food, okay, pass a few words.
Good morning. Yeah, on the food, and I really want to encourage people to think about this. For the $10 or $12 of your admission ticket to get in, you're getting a full meal. I mean, we're going to have pasta, red sauce pesto. We've got vegetarian friendly options. There's meatball salad. There's even a dessert this year. And that's all included in the cost of your ticket. New people, new to the congregation. Sometimes it's tough for people to come into a situation like this and just feel automatically a part of. This is a great way to slip into that. The cost of the meal, you get a great meal. And even if you just come in and mingle, it's going to be well worth every penny you spend. The other advantage to getting on board with the tickets right away is it helps us plan out how much food to buy and prepare for the meals. There's a big difference between preparing meals for 30 people and meals for 60 people. So if you can get on board, if you're pretty well committed that you're going to be here, get signed up so that we have a head count and we can shop accordingly. Thanks.
Yes. One more thing. Just one more thing, along with the tickets, volunteers will get in free. So please, if you support, if you can't support it with a ticket sale, sign up as a volunteer. You can come in, you can still eat, and you can help support this congregation.
One more.
Yeah, one other thing, kids are welcome.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Trash.
All righty. Did I get everything? I did. Excellent. All right. Again, you can check out our e-news for more information. You are also invited to join us for social hour immediately following the service right here in the sanctuary. If you are new, we have red mugs. If you would like us, if you have a red mug, it means that we should come and talk to you. It's on us, not you. If you pick a white mug, we'll only talk to you the normal amount. As we begin our service, I respectfully acknowledge that I speak to you today from the land of the Coast Salish people, including the Puyallup tribal nations, land from which they were forcibly displaced. I affirm the continued sovereignty of the 574 federally recognized tribes, including the 29 here in Washington, and support those still fighting for federal recognition. I acknowledge the theft, violence, trauma, and racism that Indigenous people have experienced at the hands of colonizers from 1492 through to the present day. I honor the resiliency of the Indigenous people and stand with them as they continue to fight for land, water, visibility, sovereignty, and their very existence. Lastly, friends, I invite you to set your electronic devices to worship mode. We are gathered here, one community together, Let us settle ourselves into this holy moment and open our hearts to learn and unlearn, to share and to receive. Now let us join together in worship.
Good morning. I'm the Reverend Margo Reinhart, and I'm the minister here at the Bahoma UU congregation. It's so good to see you this morning. And I just want to say, whoever you are, wherever you come from, and whomever you love, welcome here and welcome home. The opening words here this morning are from the Reverend Scott Taylor. We gather today to receive blessings of trust. May the relationships in this room remind us we do not have to depend only on ourselves. May the quiet we share help us hear and renew our faith in that still small voice inside. May the music sung inspire us to hold tight to the restorative rhythms of the world. May the words offered remind us that we too have a voice, one that must be trusted and shared. With our hearts open, let us begin. Our opening hymn today is in the Teal hymnal.
What are we going to do?
Oh, why don't we do the chalice first? Okay.
All right. I would like to invite Tommy Dominguez up to light our chalice today. And if you'll join with me in our words of lighting. We light this chalice in deep respect for the mystery and holiness of life, with honor and gratitude for those who have gone before, with love and compassion for those who dwell among us, and with hope and faith for the generations to come. And now, if you'd like to rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn. When the Spirit says do. And this is the teal hymnal, by the way.
You gotta do when the Spirit says do. You gotta do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you gotta do. Oh Lord, you gotta do when the Spirit says do. 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 You gotta sing when the Spirit says sing. You gotta sing when the Spirit says sing. When the Spirit says sing, you gotta sing, oh Lord. You gotta sing when the Spirit says sing. 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 You gotta. Oh.
Do you want me to call up the time? All right. And now it is a time for all ages. For those of you young or young at heart would like to come up and sit up here. Oh.
He has one shoe, like Henry David Thoreau. All right. Hello, hello, hello. Oh. Okay, I think we did it. Hi. It's so good to see all of you today. My name is Kinsey. I use she, her pronouns. And I'm the director of religious exploration here at the church. Today, we are going to read a story about someone who leaves their home to go and find another home. Now, I recently did this, and it was a little bit scary. But in order to get myself to feel powerful and safe and comfortable in my new home, I needed to learn to trust others. And that's kind of scary, right? But we can do hard things. We're going to read a book today about a mother and her baby who had to do a really scary thing, not just moving to a new town, moving to a whole new country. And we're going to see where they found that they could trust and love people so that they could feel more comfortable in their home. So, if you are in a good place to see the book, great. If you're not, it's fine, because they're behind me too. So, This is Dreamers by Yui Morales. The end. And now we're going to go downstairs and do a very fun activity. So I will meet you at the back of the sanctuary.
Good morning. I want to take this moment to invite you to generosity. Your gifts put our faith into action on a daily basis. Every gift helps our congregation bring people together and allows us to reach out and take a stand for justice, love, and peace. You can donate using the information on the screen. And if you're in the sanctuary, the ushers will be passing baskets. There are baskets by the chalice for our safe parking folks and trans relocation assistance. At this time, will the ushers come forward?
If you'll join with me in our words of dedication. We dedicate ourselves and our offerings to the work of this congregation, weaving a tapestry of love we call community, both within and beyond these walls. And if you will rise in body or spirit for our meditation hymn, number 123, Spirits of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Spring in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Lull in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the land, give each life the shape of justice. Roots of eagles, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Before I pop into the reading, I don't know, a lot of you can't totally see what goes on up here, but we have so many really young kids right now, which is so exciting. And this is why we need extra people downstairs, is to really make sure they are really well cared for. And what a joy it was. I wish you could all see them because there are their little faces and their name tags. And that's how we learn who they are, is by their name tags. So thank you, parents, for sharing your kids and community. My reading, I could not find the author's name, but I pulled this out of the Chalice Circle curriculum because in the Chalice Circles, we're going to talk about trust this month. All you can do is face the world with quiet grace and hope. You make a sliver of difference. Humility does not mean self-abnegation, lassitude, detachment. It's more a calm recognition that you must trust in that which does not make sense, that which is unreasonable, illogical, silly, ridiculous, crazy by the measure of our culture. You must trust that you are being the best possible and that you matter. That trying to be honest and an honest and tender parent will echo for centuries through your tribe. That your chosen work with creativity and diligence will shiver people far beyond your ken. That being an attentive and generous friend and citizen will prevent a threat or two of our social fabric from unraveling. I'm going to add democracy. And you must all do this with a certain knowledge that you will never get proper credit for it, and in the fact that the vast majority of things you do right often go utterly unremarked upon. This is what I know. The small is huge, and the tiny is vast. So the theme of the month is trust. And last week we had a guest speaker here on Sunday morning talking about kind of trust in ourselves and trust in our community. He gave us a few practices. And the thing I took away that he said that I thought about over and over again during the week is how during hard times when you're feeling alone, you trust when you come into community, and you trust that that community will uphold you. And that just really stayed with me through the week. So I want to add on to that message. And this is about trusting ourselves in really stressful situations and trusting the world, that the world will somehow hold us. You will also, there's a little homework in your packet that was handed out this morning. There's a little white sheet about I turn to when. And I just want you to take that home if you want to play with this a little over the week. You don't need it this morning. And this sermon is really a story about trusting the process, which I'm asking you to do, staying with me in this story. And I don't normally get nervous about the sermon I'm preaching. I got really nervous about this, and I almost reread the whole thing this morning. And then, then I said, this is going to be our exercise in trust. This is an intense, stressful story, and I will bring you through the other side. I also want to say ahead of time, violence never actually erupts in this story. So I want you to just be able to relax a little as I spin it out, knowing that there's no physical violence that happened in this story, which in no way should understate the emotional trepidation that was felt by some people in this story. So I'm going to try to trust and relax for a minute. And while I'm telling this story, I want you to think about a little quote from an unknown author that I have written in several of my handmade journals. And the quote is, "Trust is a confident engagement in the unknown." Trust is a confident engagement in the unknown. I don't know about confident exactly. So I'm going to think of this as a continuum. You have not confident, you have mildly confident, you have moderately confident, and then you have completely confident. I am not there, not sure I'll ever be there, but I think the important thing is to just move this way on the continuum. And I think about that moving toward this end as being a spiritual practice for me. It feels like such uncertain times, and I need to still moderately confidently go into the unknown. So here's the story I want to tell. In the spring, a few years back, I was serving at a Unitarian Universalist fellowship in another state, red state. The fellowship I was serving takes really a lot of pride in being in the pride parades. They were actually one of the 4 major sponsors of the first pride parade. So because of COVID, there had been kind of a lengthy drought of not being able to gather for this. And the legislature that year had been working very hard at passing a lot of very serious anti-trans legislation. One of them being taking away decisions about supporting gender-affirming care out of the hands of parents. So let me just restate. For parents who wanted to support their child with counseling, gender-affirming care, became unable to do so. So in response, the Pride organizer said, you know what, let's have a family-friendly drag show this year, because one of those pieces of legislation was that people should not be able to gather for drag shows, among a whole host of other things. But so it was like, yeah, let's do that. Let's see what partners are out there. And the local children's bookstore said, we're going to have a family-friendly story hour here and welcome all in our community. So for those of you who have never been to a family-friendly drag show, it's theater. It's stunningly beautiful, stunningly, and it's joyful. So I pull up that morning in my little car and I'm starting to unload all the stuff. We got a table, we've got an awning thing above the table because it's going to be hot. I couldn't park really close. Okay, and here's the tense part of the story starts. As I'm unloading, I see some people getting out of their vehicles who are in black shirts. And they have black bandanas on their faces. They look like white supremacists. I don't know if they actually are, but I also know the white supremacists don't live that far away from this location. And we're in a state where, okay, let me just not go into my thing. Let me not go there. But they get to gather too, black shirts, covered faces. They have a right to be there. It's their free speech, and they have a right to assemble. I report what I've seen in the alleyway to the security for the event. We have both private security and we have the local police force who I was reasonably confident in, given that I had seen them handle some other things with the homeless. I really thought there was some true compassion and true relational connection there. So I report to event security, but I've got stuff to do. I'm a faith leader and I'm there to help people celebrate. So it was a great morning at Pride. There was a little assembly up at the library that I didn't get to go to because I was doing setup. But as the people walked from the library down toward us, there were lots of families with small children. There were strollers. Our little booth had temporary tattoos and we had face painting. So we were really popular. We had really super fun neighbors. We had the people from the synagogue across from us. I had the Dharma Center on my left. And with the folks from the synagogue, we had done a lot of trainings together that year. So we were really kind of feeling particularly close to them. So I thought about this, about black shirts and covered faces, what that also meant for the synagogue. Life at Pride went on, and there was walkie-talkie communication about people in black shirts. We kind of knew where they were and that they had sort of stayed up at the library. So I move from behind our table and I go out to this little corner to hand out stickers. I'm asking parents, can I give your kids stickers? And I see one couple, probably in their late 20s. One is holding the toddler and the other one has the stroller with all the gear, and they are like, they're loaded down. And I'm looking at them and I'm talking to them and I suddenly see this darkness behind them. It is what everyone in this group was hoping would not happen. And I don't understand what happened to my body physically at that moment, but somehow I ended up in between the toddler and the black shirts and somehow weird things happened. But anyway, don't make me out as brave in this moment. Do not make me out as courageous. I was terrified. I was terrified for that moment, but I thought I have to trust that we're going to be okay. And then I see, they're yelling all this hateful rhetoric and blah, blah, blah. And one of them sort of slams into my shoulder. And I thought, oh, well, things happen. And I know what they want. They want me to respond so they can engage. And I'm like, I'm not giving you the time of day and you are not ruining this for our community. So I trusted myself in that moment. I thought, I've been to trainings for how to do nonviolent protesting. I did that during Black Lives Matter protests. So there was that little piece of trust. We can trust ourselves here. All of us who have come to be celebratory, we can trust ourselves. We're not here to be hateful. We're not here to engage what only distracts us from what is beautiful. So, and I'm kind of an uppity person. Every now and then I have to kind of like rein it in. But no yelling, no body slamming. I'm going to trust myself. I'm terrified. I'm still terrified. And then I see one of my congregants who has his phone out, who is videotaping what's going on. And my trust level goes way up at that point. I'm like, wait a minute. We now have a video record of what is happening here. And I felt like Now I'm the observer and I don't want to I felt like for everyone there who could see that this was being filmed, they were like, aha, we have a little layer of control on this now. So I'm starting to slowly trust this process. I am a million years from confidently engaged in the unknown. I'm like, the end is here, but I'm here. But it's a continuum. And then I see security's there and the police are there. And I trust them because I know something about them. And this private security company, I trust because a friend of mine who does a lot of LGBTQ events and education, trust them. They've had experience with this. So I'm like, okay. The family and the toddler have moved away. The pride organizers have come in and they say, hey, it's dancing time. It's dancing time. So this riffraff of black is going on here. People are dancing here, and the family-friendly drag show stage is right here. And let me tell you, there were probably at least 100 people who started the dancing. Between this ugliness and this beauty is all these people who jump in and trust that this process is going to turn out okay. I see people in their beautiful, beautiful drag show costumes, laughing and dancing. I see a person I'd met at several other community events and a protest at the state capitol. And I look into their face the way we are all looking, everyone there is looking into each other's faces because we're trusting that we're safe together. And everything at this moment could have been so horrible. It could have been so awful. Eventually arrests got made. But what stays with me about that day is the dancing and the joyfulness. And I trust that by seeing every person's inherent worth and dignity, we crossed over into what felt impossible. There was love everywhere. And I had such admiration. Goes beyond admiration. What is it? It was like the opening of my heart. Like my heart was so large at that moment, there was no more room for it in my chest. Of the LGBTQ folks who were staying in this. And I am not an LGBTQ person, but it would have been in my heart. It would have been easier to leave, I think, if that had been me. But everyone stayed, just everyone stayed. Even the family stayed, which, whoa, I'm not sure that's not, maybe not the decision I would have made with a toddler, but, and love was everywhere, entirely holding up human souls, even in that most challenging of times. The rest of the day really went without incident. Some of them were arrested. They tried to disrupt Children's Story Hour up the street. So later, all this dancing ends up on a clip that is shown on the Rachel Maddow show. So by that time, I'm back at my apartment. I'm enjoying my incredibly gorgeous view of the mountains. I'm having a glass of wine and I'm watching the Rachel Maddow show, and it's like, it was as joyful as my mind has made it. I mean, there I was with this, there we all could see this video of, we weren't kidding ourselves. That was an amazing moment. And all that was there was joy beating back hatred in that moment. I know that moment doesn't transfer everywhere and it doesn't transfer all the time, but it was still something to hold on to. In that moment, And in the debriefs that happened after that, I know that that was the major thing that was shared among organizers and among the participants that shared in the debriefing. So I keep that moment when I face challenges today, which don't seem as dramatic on one hand, but they seem every bit as hurtful, as dangerous on the other hand, just dangerous in a different way. So I am reminded about a piece by Jeff Foster, which is entitled, "Somehow I'm Always Held." Jeff Foster is embracing a confident engagement with the unknown, so he's ahead of us. He says, "There were times when I thought I'd never make it, times when my dreams had been shattered so thoroughly, I couldn't imagine how life could ever go on. Yet it went on. I've come to trust life completely, to trust even in the times when I forget how to trust at all. Trust that life doesn't always go according to plan because there is no plan. Somehow I'm always held in a way I cannot explain and I do not want to. I may be crushed yet again, and before long, I may experience further seemingly insurmountable challenges and heartbreak, but somehow I am always held." The idea of living love through the practice of trust is something we're exploring in multiple ways this month. You can talk about it further. Come to the pop-up chalice group after church next Sunday. And let's try to push ourselves a little further down that continuum from semi-confident engagement to a little more toward this unknown, completely confident engagement. So in closing, what if we trusted the divine is already at work, weaving beauty into all these uncertainties in all these really, really difficult times? And what if we trusted that transformation doesn't happen all at once? It's not usually an epiphany. It's a step by step, day by day, building block by building block. The transformation doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It begins with the messiness of the present moment. It begins with people like us, worried, inspired, sometimes so unsure and fearful, but taking one step forward. Amen. We are now going to try another song out of the Teal hymnal. It's a joyful song. I hope it allows you to let go of some of the tension in your body through singing.
We are going, heaven knows where we are going.
actually reading this music, it has like a gazillion repeats and codas and it's very. Closing words. Oh, closing words. You know, I swear, I've been here since October and someday I will get this right. I will get the order right. So these are by Angeline Jackson. May we remember that trust, like love, grows in small moments, in promises kept and confidence is held, in boundaries respected and amends made, in showing up again and again. May we be brave enough to risk trust, patient enough to build it slowly, and gentle with ourselves when it breaks.
And if you will join with me in our words of extinguishing, and then Margo will extinguish the chalice afterward. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And if you'll rise in body or spirit for our closing blessing song. And if anyone has questions or wanted to ask questions about the town hall meeting that was announced in the e-news, I will be in the back corner over by the picture with the house in it.